Hi everyone, and welcome to my sewing room. We're going to do a little bit more on the upgrade to the Stellaire, so don't go away. Okay, so today I thought that I might show you another feature that I've actually forgot to show you in the last one that has to do with some of the things they've added into the Stellaire. And I also want to show you what these little things are that came in your upgrade. So I'm going to move the camera so we can get closer to the sewing machine, and let me show you some of those neat things. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you is if we go into embroidery, and we choose a design that's in here. So let's just choose this flower design right here. Here's one right here. This is a pretty little rose design. And I'm going to set it down. And let's get a little closer so we can see what we're talking about. So this is some flowers and some leaves, and it has a little border around it. So one of the cool things, and they've had this in the Luminaire for quite a while now, so I'm really glad that the Stellaire has it now. So if you go into edit and you push this button right here that looks like a zigzag button with a line through it, let me go back. This one right here. If you push that button, then you can take out parts of the design that you don't want. You can't cut something in half, but you can take things out. So I'm going to select the yellow here, which is a flower, and then this yellow here is also a flower. I'm going down trying to find probably the last step here, which is this border part. Yes, you can skip over it. We've been doing that for years on our embroidery machines, but wouldn't it be neat if we could say don't sew that and just take it out? Another part you could do is I could come up here and choose this green leaf right here and say don't sew that and take that part out. So that's kind of neat. I can take out parts that I don't want that are in the design. Here's some more leaves. Don't sew those either. So, and then I'm going to say okay. And let me see if I can push this and hit the plus button. See, now all the green is gone out of that picture. So that's kind of a new feature that they've added to it that's really fun. So now give me a second. I want to move the camera back just a little bit. Okay, so here's these little gizmos that they gave us. And what I'm going to do is, the first thing is, of course, I want to change the foot. I want to put a better foot on there. So I have to take this part out, and I'm going to need a screwdriver. Let me see. So I'm going to unplug my embroidery foot, and I'm going to put this one on there. And it's got a very little teeny tiny hole, and it's got like this little curly cue right here that you can't see. Let me see if I put it down. It's back here on the back. Then this part right here goes over here. There's a square on the top of your sewing machine that you probably didn't even know what it was there for. And we are going to push this into that square so it sits very neatly. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some yarn. And this is a fuzzy yarn. This is one of those chenille yarns. I think they work really, really well for doing this. But you could use any kind of a yarn that's got a little bit more thickness to it. A really thin yarn doesn't do a really good job. So I could put it in like a little cup. I could put it in like a can like this and let it drop down. And anything that's going to hold the yarn up and out of the way, I could put it in. I'm going to put it right here. And then I'm going to just put it through here. I'm going to put it through the little loop there and then down. Let me move the camera so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm going to take the yarn from way over here on the other side of the sewing machine and pull it across this way. And I'm going to just tuck it back here behind the bobbin winder because that way it'll kind of hold it in place. And then put it here. And then I'm going to put it here. And then I'm going to put it through that little curly Q that's right there. That's on the side. And then I'm going to put it right into this little hole that's on the presser foot. And they give you a little threading tool that helps you to get it in here. But I'm just going to thread it through the hole myself. Okay, so I try to be absolutely honest with you guys, and every time I mess up, so I'm going to tell you the truth. The little wire threading tool that goes through this hole that pushes your yarn through, I had it, and I don't know what I did with it. And this is the second one I lost. I lost one before. It's a very teeny tiny piece of wire. Put it in a safe place, because if you lose it, it makes it very hard to get the yarn through this hole that you're trying to get it through. There's other little tricky ways that you can do it if you lose the wire, though. And one of the ways is to create a cradle with a piece of thread. Kind of like you take your thread and you make a loop, and then you put the yarn through the loop, and then through the loop like that, and then you feed the ends of the loop of thread through the hole, and then you can pull the yarn through. But hopefully you won't have to do that, because hopefully you won't lose that wire. Anyway, so the yarn is going across the top here. Then my thread is coming from up above here. I picked a gray that's the same color, putting it through here and down and threading it like you would thread your sewing machine when you're going to do embroidery. Don't let them cross over each other so they don't tangle. And down here, and then let's go ahead and put the foot down. Make sure the needle's all the way to the highest position so that I can thread it. Whoops, I pushed the wrong button. Oh my gosh, Rosemary. One of those days. Okay, there's the threading button. Okay. And I could have used a different color so that they wouldn't match, so that you could see them better, but I just decided to go ahead and match the gray yarn with the gray thread. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go into the new couching menus. Here's the alphabet one, and here's some of the pretty little things that they've got on here. Here's a cute little butterfly. That one's really fun, but that might take probably 20 minutes to sew out. But let's do it. Okay, so I'm going to set it down. And these designs, I don't know if we can see it. If we hit plus, they're not straight. They're like little triangles that are going to sew the yarn down and hold on to it as it's going around. I do have a video, if you go back, that says couching on the Stellaire, that shows you a little bit in Design Center how you can create your own. You have to be very careful when you're creating your own couching design, because it can't stop and cut the thread and go to another part. And you'll notice with this one, it goes down and around and has a continuous line that doesn't stop till it's done. Because let's face it, if it stops and cuts the thread and jumps to another part, it's going to drag the yarn across. So it has to be a continuous line, and that's what this one has. So that looks like it's going to work. So I'm going to hit embroidery, and it says I'm ready to embroider. So I'm going to just hold my thread and push go. So I went away for a second because I need to tell you something. I've done couching on my machine before in the past, and as I said before, there's a video that I did that's called Couching on Your Stellaire, where I went into Design Center and I chose the shape of the little diamonds that hold the thread down, the yarn down. And this is the first time I've ever done the ones that are in the machine, because the Stellaire didn't have those in the machine before. And I'm struggling with it a little bit. And it's not catching the yarn. So if you've done it and you know how to make it do what you want it to do, make a comment. It kind of lead me, because I've watched a lot of different videos and I'm trying to figure it out and I'm having some problems. So I'm going to move the camera again and show you what I've done to maybe hopefully that'll help you to do it so that you can do the couching a little bit better than the way I'm doing it. Okay, so one of the things I did was I had my embroidery foot a little bit higher. I brought it all the way down to, let's see, if I go into my settings over here, embroidery foot height is at 0.040 and default is 0.060, so that's one step before lower than the default. So then I started to sew the butterfly again, and you can actually see on this, look how much it skipped right here. It just would not grab that yarn no matter what I did. It just kept on sewing. So what I ended up doing was I lowered the pressure foot height a little bit, or the embroidery foot height, I guess is what you call it. And then I held this out a little bit towards me. It comes out of the little curly Q right here, and it should pull straight across here, but I actually pulled it towards me a little bit, so I'm holding it in my fingers as it's sewing, and that seems to make it hold the yarn a little bit better. And now it's sewing the yarn down with it being held out here. That seems like a step I shouldn't have to do, but at least it's working the way I want it to. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish sewing this, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's all completely finished. Okay, so I finished it, and I have to confess that the entire time that I was sewing it, I was holding the yarn to the front like this, holding it in front of the needle, and that seemed to make it grab the thread the yarn the way that I wanted it to, so that it came out really pretty. If you know an easier way or something better to do, let me know, because I'm still learning about the couching on the machine. But isn't that pretty? I thought that came out to be a really pretty butterfly. It adds a little texture to a project that you may be doing. So it's definitely something that's really fun to be able to do with your embroidery machine. I think that basically covers a lot of the stuff that is in the upgrade. If you have some more questions about the upgrade that you might like to see me do, please make a comment and let me know. I am going to do an edge-to-edge quilting as soon as I finish a quilt. I have one halfway finished that I will get done, and then I'll do some edge-to-edge quilting with it. I also wanted to mention to you that this is almost the end of September right now, and the weather's getting nice and cold, and I just love the fall. I'm already kind of looking forward to Halloween and Thanksgiving and the holidays and everything. But there's a new issue of this magazine out. It's called Creative Machine Embroidery, and they have it at some of the, like Barnes & Noble and Joann's and that sort of thing. But there is an article in the back of this one. This is the fall issue, of course. I had it marked and then I lost it. This is an article about me, and it talks about Enchanting Rosemary, and it talks about some of the stores I worked at, and it has a picture of my sewing room. So if you get an opportunity to pick it up, you can see a little bit about me in it. I think next time we're going to do some PE design software, because I haven't done anything with PE design in a while. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.